All right, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Shakar here with another lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakak Quadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing his work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. All right, I'm going to start here in the book of 2 Peter, and let's go to the 3rd chapter, and I'm going to start in the 3rd verse. And it reads, it says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust. See, and that's exactly what you're seeing. Okay, you have those that are mocking. Okay, they're scoffing. Okay, they're just in unbelief. You see, they don't believe, man. Because the mindset is of the world, man. And what does the scripture say about loving the world? Matter of fact, let me grab that. That's 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. And it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, see, the love of the Father is not in him. That's why, you see so many, that are just in unbelief. You see, you tell them the true name of the Father, Yahweh, the true name of the Son, Yahweh Shai. Okay, they deny it. Okay, you tell them who the true Israelites are. Okay, who are the true people of the scriptures. Okay, and they don't accept it. You give them the correct breakdown. Okay, of what the mark of the beast is. They deny it. They say it's something else. Because when it comes down to it, their mindset is still of the world. They still think that they're going to be able to gain something in this time. And when this place is over, man, this place is done with. Now you do the best you can. Okay, but ultimately this place is on the verge of destruction, man. Listen, it says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, see, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, see, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And that's the majority of the people. They're worldly. Listen, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will, see, of the Most High, abideth forever. See, really, that's the elect. Okay, right now, the hopeful elect. Okay, that are rehearsing the righteous acts. You see, that are doing the things, okay, that are pleasing to the Lord. So let me go back to 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, and I'll read verse 3 again. It says, knowing this first, that there should come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust. And you're seeing that. And saying, where is the promise of his coming? You see, they don't believe that the Lord's going to come back. You see, and if they do believe he's coming back, they don't think it's now. They think it's somewhere, far in the future. Listen, for since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning, see, of the creation. They see, day after day pass. Okay, month after month, year after year, you see, and nothing's really changing, according to them. But we know through this power and spirit, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, okay, there's a lot going on out there. And the Lord is moving. The devil that the Bible speaks about is being exposed. People are waking up, but they still have the mindset of the world. Okay, they're waking up to, to certain things, okay, but still their mindset is not on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Because the Lord, he's only dealing, with his people. Okay, right now, it's the hopeful elect. Now, the nations, when it comes to Esau, okay, the so-called white man, okay, or whether you got a so-called Chinese or so on and so forth, the Lord's not dealing with them. You see, and even 2/3 of our own people, okay, the Lord's not dealing with them either. Okay, that's why they're not in their proper mindset. Ultimately, that's why, okay, they're lost. And they don't think that anything's going to happen in this time. They think it's for, somewhere, down the road. Matter of fact, let me grab this real quick. This is Ezekiel chapter 12. And let me see. I'll start in verse 21. It says, and the word of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that ye have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision faileth? Yeah, because right now in this time, okay, you got those that, again, they're in their unbelief. You see, They don't think anything's happening, even though the word of the Lord is going out through the servants, the prophets, the men of the Lord on the highways and byways, and those that are doing lessons, through various platforms, but they still deny it. They can't see the truth, man. It wasn't given to them. Listen, it says, tell them therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will make this proverb to cease. It says, and they shall no more use it as a proverb, see, in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand and the effect, see, of every vision. You see, so all the words of the prophets, okay, in the time past, and even those, okay, today that have been raised up as prophets again, because the scripture tells us what the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets, so the prophets are back. See, in this time, it's clear, okay, the message is clear, man. You see, the understanding has been made manifest. Okay, now you have the men of the Lord, okay, that are bringing out, okay, the correct doctrine. You see, listen, it says, for there shall be no more any vain vision nor flattering divination, see, within the house of Israel. It says, for I am the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yoshai, I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. Now, how was the Lord speaking? Through his men. Matter of fact, let me grab this. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 12, and I believe it's verse 10. Yeah, it says, I have also spoken, listen, by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes, listen, by the ministry of the prophets. And that's what you're witnessing today. Okay, you got the ministry of the prophets, okay, in full force. So let me go back to Ezekiel, chapter 12. Let me see where I leave off at. I'll read verse 25 again. It says, for I am the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yoshai. I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. And again, the Lord is speaking through his men. It shall be no more prolonged. It says, for in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, saith the Lord power. You see, and that's another reason why people don't listen, man. Very, very rebellious, hard-headed, stiff-necked. Okay, they don't want the truth. Okay, they'd rather hear the lies, okay, that they've been fed. Listen, again, the word of the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai came to me, saying, son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come. See, they say it's going to happen, okay, not in our time, okay, but in our children's time. You see, they don't want it to happen now because they still feel that they're going to make something, okay, in this world. They're still trying to live out, okay, the American dream, you see, but all that's failing. Things are horrible out here, and they're just going to continue to get worse. You see, so they don't think it's going to happen in this time. Again, it says the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of the times, see, that are far off. Yeah, it's not going to happen right now in our time. It's going to happen later on. See, that's their mindset that they have because, again, they're worldly, man. Okay, they're thinking of what they can accomplish in this time, in this world. You see, but again, what did we just read? The world passeth away. Listen, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, there should none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken, listen, shall be done, saith the Lord power. So everything that the Lord spoke about, okay, through his servants, the prophets, and then again, in this time you got the men of the Lord, the prophets being raised back up. Okay, they're speaking the truth, man. Okay, telling you, okay, what the prophecies truly mean. Okay, letting you know that a so-called America, okay, it's through, man. And there's a harsh judgment coming, okay, for those that have been living wickedly. And that's going to be the wicked, okay, Esau, the so-called white man, the other nations, and even 2/3 of our own people. So let me go back to, 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, and let me see where I left off at. Yeah, verse 5, it says, for this they are willingly ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. See, they're willingly ignorant. Okay, they don't want to know. You see, the people, they're just walking in their own lust. Matter of fact, let me grab this in the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. And it says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, standing in the ways and see. It says, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein. And ye shall find rest, see for your souls. Listen, but they said, we will not walk therein. Okay, even though the people, they're getting the warnings, okay, the trumpet's being blown, okay, but they don't want to do it. Okay, they want to still live, okay, their wicked lifestyles. Okay, you tell them to quit eating things that are abominable, which were never meant to be food, and yet they don't want to do it. You tell them to quit smoking, okay, they don't want to do that. You tell them that you gotta leave off from your sins, man, and they don't want to do that. You know, you got men that want to be women, women want to be men. You got the women, okay, that are loose, okay, and you got these men, okay, that they covet after their neighbor's wife, okay, committing all kinds of manners of adultery, okay, doing all kinds of wicked shit, man, okay, because when it comes to the old paths, that's what, coming back to your heritage, okay, understanding, okay, what the will of the Lord is, man, okay, rehearsing the righteous acts, okay, following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Okay, but they said, we will not walk therein. Okay, they don't want to do it. They're willingly ignorant, man. Listen, also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. Again, you got the men of the Lord, man. The prophets set up, okay, to give you warning. But they don't want to listen. It says, therefore, hear ye nations, and know, O congregation, what is among them. See, the Lord is letting everybody know. Okay, this is what's going to happen to his own people, man. A harsh judgment is getting ready to come upon 2/3. Listen, hear, O earth, behold, and I will bring evil, see, upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not hearkened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it. See, again, they're willingly ignorant. Okay, to be ignorant means just not to know, but ultimately they don't want to know. That's why when it comes to this truth, it offends them. Okay, it makes them mad. Okay, they want to fight you. So they mock, they scoff, okay, and pretty much say, you're the one that's evil. Again, because you're telling them the truth. So you see, pretty much, hey, we become their enemy. Matter of fact, let me grab that. That's Galatians, I believe it's chapter 4. Let me see. Yeah, Galatians 4:16, it says, am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? See, and the answer is yes. Yeah, let me grab this. Amos chapter 5 and verse 10. Listen, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. It says, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. So they avoid the truth. Okay, they avoid what's coming out of the scriptures. Again, they want it to mean what they want it to mean. You see, so they hate, okay, those that are bringing out the truth, man. You see, just like the Lord said, hey, you're going to die in your sins. He said that to the Pharisees, okay, the wicked Pharisees. The same way, okay, these people, man, they're going to die in their sins. Let me grab this. They're going to die, okay, without having knowledge. This is the book of Job, chapter 36 and verse 12. And it says, well, let me start up a little bit. Yeah, verse 10, it says, he openeth also their ear to discipline and commandeth that they return, see, from iniquity. You see, so the commandments is what? Is to come out of the ways of the world, man. Again, rehearse their righteous acts. But listen, it says, if they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. Ultimately, that's going to be in the kingdom. But listen, but if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. You know, we know according to the scriptures, all Israel is going to be saved, but you're going to have those that are going to know, okay, death by pain. You know, they're going to have to take part, okay, in that brutal destruction. Again, because they just want to remain ignorant, okay, to the truth. Let me go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 7 and verse 11. It says, but they refused to hearken, see, and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear. Again, they don't want to hear the truth, man. Okay, they want to remain in that mindset that they've always had. You see, they just want to go along, okay, with whatever is happening in the world. Again, trying to make something out of nothing, because this place is done with, man. Listen, yea, they made their hearts as an adamant stone, lest they should hear the law And the words of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts has sent in the spirit, listen, by the former prophets. And now again, you have the prophets raised up again. Listen, therefore came a great wrath from the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts. Now that happened at one time, okay, but it's getting ready to happen again. Listen, therefore it is come to pass that as he cried, see, the Lord is crying through his men. You see, the warnings are going out. Okay, this truth is out here. Listen, and they would not hear, so they're not listening. It says, so that they cried, and I would not hear, said the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts. Because the time's coming when there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. But the Lord not going to hear them, man. Matter of fact, we'll get this when we close out. The Lord said he's going to laugh at them when their calamities come. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1. And let me see. I'm just going to start at 20. It says, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. Okay, that's why you have the men of the Lord on the highways and byways, man. Okay, they're singing that new song. Okay, they're piping to the people. But the people, hey, they're not dancing, man. They're not listening. Okay, they're not paying attention. They're not taking heed. Listen, she crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, see, and fools hate knowledge. You see, so how long are these people, okay, are going to remain in that simple state of mind? Ultimately, it's because the Lord blinded them. Let me grab this real quick. I'll come back. This is Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. It says, what then? Israel had not attained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it. See, and the rest were blinded. Again, that's why they remain in that state of not being able to see. You see, they have ears, but they hear not. They have eyes, but they see not. Okay, because the Lord's only looking for a remnant, man, an elect. Matter of fact, let me grab this. This is Matthew chapter 13 and verse 10. And it says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So those that are remaining simple, those that are remaining willingly ignorant, it's because it wasn't given to them. Really, ultimately, it's not their fault, okay, but there's still a judgment that's going to come. Listen, for whosoever hath, to him shall it be given. It says, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Because you got men, okay, they acknowledge the truth for a little bit, okay, but then the Lord takes that truth away from them. You see, they bug out, man. They go back into the world. Okay, but you got more of those that never come in. Okay, they just stay in that ignorant, okay, state of mind. Listen, it says, therefore speak I to them in parables, because they see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. It says, and them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which is Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. Listen, for this people's heart is waxed gross. It says, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, meaning with their mind, and should be converted, and I should heal them. Convert to what? Convert to understanding who you are. Okay, an Israelite. Okay, convert to coming back to your heritage. You see, but it wasn't given to them. Again, that's why they remain, okay, in the lust of the flesh, man, in the lust of the world. Listen, but blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. You see, and that's the hopeful elect, man. Okay, those that have, okay, the true understanding. So going back to what we read, it says, how long, so you simple ones, okay, stay in simplicity. Well, let's get it in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 9. And it says, and he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. It says, make the heart of this people fat, again going into their minds. It says, and make their ears heavy and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with the ears and understand with their heart, see, and convert and be healed. But the Lord doesn't want to heal them. See, that's why they remain, okay, in that ignorant state of mind. Verse 11, then said I, Lord, how long? Again, this how long are they going to stay simple? Listen, and he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. See, ultimately, to that destruction comes. And then they're going to see it, okay, they're going to understand, but then it's going to be too late, man. So they're going to have to take part, okay, in that destruction. You see, again, it's going to come it's going to be death by pain. Matter of fact, let me grab that, but I want to grab it in the GNT. This is, was that 2nd Esdras 9? Yeah, let's get that. Yeah, this is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9. And go right to the point. I believe it's verse 12. You know what? I'm going to start up a little bit, if I may. Yeah, verse 9. 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 9. And it reads, it says, then those who have ignored my ways and held them in contempt will be surprised when they find themselves in continual torment. So they're going to go, you see, they're going to have to go through that destruction, okay, that brutal punishment. It says, this will include all those who ignored me while they were alive, even though they accepted the blessings I gave them. And because the Lord, you know, he pours out blessings, man. He says he brings rain upon, okay, the just and the unjust. You know, the Lord will bless you with a job, a car, okay, so on and so forth. But our people, they don't consider it, man. You know, they don't realize, okay, that it's the Lord doing it. Again, that's why, okay, they're in that ignorant state of mind. It says it will include all those who scorn my law during the time they were free to do so, and all those who refuse to repent, see, when they still had the chance. Again, they're in this time of grace, man. But instead, they wasted it away, man. They continued in their wickedness. They didn't get right. Listen, the torment they will have to suffer after death, listen, will force them to recognize the truth. So ultimately, when they're going through that destruction, that judgment, then they're going to realize, okay, that the men of the Lord were right. Okay, that the Lord was right. You see? And that he set up his men, okay, to pull you out of the fire. But instead, you remain ignorant. Okay, you just didn't want to know. So let me go back to Proverbs, the 1st chapter, and I'm gonna finish it off in there. Let me see where I leave off at. Again, it says, how long will you simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, seeing fools hate knowledge. Again, they're going to remain in that simple state of mind, that ignorant state of mind, till they be destroyed, man. Listen, turn you at my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. It says, I will make known my words unto you. And again, how's the Lord doing that? Through his men. It says, because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. And the only ones that have given regard, okay, that's the whole full elect. But the majority, they disregard, man. They don't want to know. Again, they're ignorant. But it says, but ye have said at naught all my counsel. It says, and with none of my reproof. You see, they don't want the correction. Listen, I also will laugh at your calamity, and will mock when your fear cometh. So when all these things come upon the earth, Jacob's trouble, okay, World War III, okay, the chariots, the so-called UFOs, okay, they're going to be in fear, man. But the Lord said what? He said he's going to laugh. He's going to laugh at their calamity. See, right now you even got the men of the Lord, okay, they're laughing. Listen, verse 27, it says, when your fear cometh, see, as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, it says, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Listen, for that they hated knowledge, It says, and did not choose the fear of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Listen, they would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. So you're going to have to deliver yourself, man, but you're not going to be able to. Okay, the Lord going to leave you, okay, to yourself. Okay, you say you got free will. You know, you're denying what the truth really is. Okay, well, deliver yourself. You're not going to be able to, man. You're going to be destroyed. Listen, it says, for the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. You see, because of their simple minds, okay, they're willingly ignorant, okay, they're going to be destroyed, man. You see, they're comfortable in their wickedness, man. You see, but there's going to be a heavy judgment, okay, that's going to come upon them. But listen, but whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely. That's the hopeful elect, Lord willing to become the elect. See, and shall be quiet, see, from the fear of evil, okay, from the bad times that are coming. But you see, the majority of Israel, okay, the Israelites here in so-called America, okay, they're going to remain willingly ignorant, man. Okay, they're just not going to know. Then you got those that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, okay, with that same two-third mindset, okay, they're not going to make it either. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close out and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Quadash, and double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, from which I learned this truth. Peace and blessings to the house of David, doing his work with all righteousness, truth, and sincerity. And I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.